Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 4 of Power Rangers Let There Be Thunder. I am Matthew, I am the GM tonight, as with every other night, and I have 3 lovely players here in front of me who are going to introduce themselves.
Hello, everybody out there on the internet watching us. My name is Jay. In real life, I will be playing Q, the Red Ranger. If you want to follow me on socials, I'm Blue Stripe Leader, all one word, sometimes with an E at the end, sometimes without. So go find me.
Hello, I am Panic. I'll be playing the Yellow Ranger. Cal, nice to meet you again. For the 4th time.
Woo!
Hi, I'm Michael. I'll be playing Peter the Green Ranger. I don't do socials, so yeah, let's do this.
Just had a panic moment, but it is the 4th episode. I did get that right, didn't I? It feels like it
Yes.
went on, because of the 5 episodes, like the 5 bits we did before, it kind of threw me for a second then, but that...
You feel like you're on episode 9 and you're
I was
not.
like, no, hang on a second. How badly did I get that? But good. I did not. Fantastic.
We didn't really have... We had session 0 offline, and we then had session -4, -3, -2, -1.
It's like a countdown to lift off. But fantastic then. The last session ended with the players defeating Pudgy Pig at the fair. Or the characters rather, not the players.
No, we were there.
Yeah,
we did it.
They were there. They definitely did it. They took
We
a
just watched
trophy.
them, we kicked them.
They took a nice trophy, which was pretty cool actually. I liked that moment. They brought it back to the command center, only to find that Alpha seemed to be offline. There was some technical attempts to try and fix him that didn't work very well. But in a moment of GM stumping...
Inspiration?
Yeah. Our Yellow Ranger knew a guy. Quite literally.
What can I say? I'm well connected.
It worked very well. It did force me to introduce an NPC a little bit earlier than I had planned, but I still think it worked very well. They got to meet a alien from the planet Claydoyus, which is the same planet as a certain Finster comes from. I think there might have been some questions as to whether or not this actually was Finster. You know, he did fix
No
Alpha.
way. Couldn't
Claydoyus
be.
Pete.
He is called
Yeah,
Peter.
it was Peter.
He
It was
nicknamed
Claydoyus Pete.
Claydoyus Pete. He was very helpful. Yeah, it went very well. Alpha, you all went back to the command center afterwards, and oh, sorry, just a message there. All went back to the command center afterwards and were able to be teleported to the outside, or say the command center. They went back to Tor and were teleported back to the outside of the semi-destroyed command center, which they began investigating after defeating some putties. I think there was a few moments where people were kind of like hit with some emotional gut punches as they found the rooms left behind by former Power Rangers. And that is where we ended the session. Command Center all a bit destroyed. Rangers maybe a tad emotional. And yeah. Over to you 3.
Awesome. So, Q has just returned from having a quick look in the Red Quarters, for want of a better name for them. And he had just learned from what part of the system, the computer system, is running, that there's all sorts of problems with a number of the systems: structural integrity, fire, attack warning, fire suppression isn't working. So he had just come out and he just regrouped the Rangers that were present to say, I think we need to get emergency power back online, or main power, some sort of power, and hopefully that will kick in some of the other systems. But I have no idea where anything is. And then he'll put his helmet back on, hoping, probably in vain, that there's some kind of assistive technology involved that it'll help, like Flugel maps him to where he needs to go, or a bit like in Star Trek in our game, or what would it be, Space Voyage, that you can ask the computer to help navigate you to certain places if you're new to a ship. So
I want to I want to say that Peter kind of realizes what Q's doing when he puts his helmet back on, and kind of radios up to Alpha. Alpha, is there a way to like download the schematics of the command center into our visors so we can at least see where we're going to repair things?
Much like when Q had tried to communicate with Alpha, having arrived inside the command center, you get a very crackly response. He's clearly trying to speak back to you. He can obviously hear some of your question at the very least, but he's very patchy. You catch words here and there, and he's just like, "Rain, just moment, wait," and it cuts off. But seconds after it does cut off, there is just like sort of like a little ping in the top right corner of your heads-up display inside the helmet, and it's just like almost like a little file has been downloaded alert that pops up, shaped very nicely in Alpha's sort of head dome display, with a little light moment at the top.
His like dome is an icon, and the light on the top of his head just
just like ping.
Nice.
And it does.
It shouldn't go bing. It should go aye.
Shake from side to side.
Oh God!
It does download a map that does, as you kind of look around, it overlays room names. So as you look across, it shows sort of like Yellow Ranger's room, Red Ranger's room. As you pan over to the left, it shows the kitchen, it shows the recreation area. It does highlight, thankfully, several areas that have handheld fire extinguishers, which could be used to put out the fire, thankfully, in the absence of a working fire suppression system.
Cal is going to do that immediately. He didn't say anything.
Hunt that too. Yeah.
But the active fires and then the lack of visible like fire extinguishers in corridors was like making him twitchy. It's like, oh, thank God.
So, who does allow these sort of buildings to be built without any kind of
who built this?
Yeah.
I will have words with them.
Words with the planning team. You are able to get a hold of a fire extinguisher each, Vic included, and start putting out the fires. There's an electrical fire going on over here on the screen. There's a sofa that clearly was built before they decided to start making them out of
non-flammable,
Thank
like
you.
foam filling.
I wanted to say inflammable, and I'm like, no, that's the opposite of what I want to say at this point.
Yeah, because there's flammable and
Flammable and inflammable
one
mean the same thing.
Exactly. And I knew it.
No, they don't.
Oh.
There is a difference between the two. One is it will burn if a source of flame is attached to it. The other one is that it can be ignited without there needing to be a flame there in the first place. I can't remember which is which, but
we got a safety lesson
needs
now.
a source of ignition, the other one just needs fire.
Oh, if anybody was about in the chat that I knew, I'd be asking them to Google this now, just out of curiosity, because I'm intrigued. But you are able to... Oh, go on.
That sounds like the difference between, like, listen, if you get shot in the leg, it'll hurt. But if someone propels a bullet through your leg, it will
It
also
will
hurt.
also hurt.
It just sounds like a matter of phrasing, honestly. In both
Yeah.
cases, that thing is now on fire.
Semantics and pedantry, they're two of my favourite hobbies.
Understandable.
The four of you combined are able to put out the fires all around you. There is
We bring the extinguishers together and then we form up to make one
really
giant
big
fire extinguisher.
One giant fire extinguisher shaped like a cannon.
I'm not seeing an
Yeah.
issue here. It's totally unfitting. With the fire
Every-
put out, the sort of sources of smoke kind of reduced at the very least, you kind of get a chance to see around you a bit better than you had before. And there's just debris everywhere. There's broken displays. There's a whole console that Vic is standing near that just seems to have taken half a dozen rocks or pieces of the building, the ceiling that had collapsed onto it and just shattered it into pieces. Its purpose lost to destruction. There's actually a great big hole leading down to the floor below that's just pitch black. You can't see what it is below you. A pool table that has stones scattered across it, glasses that have been smashed that had been left some time ago. Everything just looks like it's been abandoned. There's oddly not a thin layer of dust over every surface. You just get that feeling that nobody's been there in a really long time.
Q says, do you think Alpha would usually be cleaning? Because this place is a mess.
I mean, I'm sure that when they were here, the Rangers would have helped out, but when they left, I guess it was just left to him, and he let it fall by the wayside because he was in a turtle.
Oh yes, the interdimensional turtle.
To be fair, though, it does look like a bomb hit this place. Like, it would only be in keeping.
Something, something
It
not
was,
healthy hit this place.
it
And
was
you know
probably
that because we're
Go blow it up.
and you know that because we're Power Rangers, we can't get like a crew up here to clear this out. We're gonna have to do this ourselves.
Maybe they've got some sort of like nanobots or fleet of like assistant bots that help with things, or some kind of energy beam that sweeps through and evaporates dust.
We can hope.
If so, I want it like installing in my home. I'm sick of dusting.
Make me a alertness check, difficulty 12, all of you.
All right.
Dun dun dun.
Oh, we're just walking through the command center critiquing
Having a look,
the
commenting on that.
housekeeping.
Yeah, basically, this is what it's come down to, guys. It's just like, wow.
Wow. Right now,
Last time this
has somebody
happened,
been?
just for the
That's
record,
normal.
guys, last time this happened, all of the roles that kind of meant something
Mattered.
did not go very well.
Went
So,
to boot. Yeah.
yeah.
And
So
and that time it was just me. That's 3 nat 20s from 3 different people on an alertness check.
Just out of curiosity, I'm just going to.
Me
No, I got
and
a 6.
Dave
We're
both
good.
rolled
It's
Okay,
fine.
ones and
so
twos.
not bugged, just highly unlikely. What
Yeah.
the fuck?
statistically improbable. Yeah.
It's okay.
I'm mad. I'm mad as hell. What the shit?
I just love it. It's like, well, couldn't have rolled like that last time when, was trying to cross
Couldn't-
that rope bridge of doom.
I need that
He
for a
was
forensics
concerned.
check later in the session.
Q is concerned that something is being pumped through the atmosphere. As we were walking around like this.
Everybody's like, wow. Over
I'm wired.
over amongst this pile of debris, you see what appears to be a smaller version of Alpha's dome. The head It's been crushed by some rocks. It does seem to have two claw-like appendages of sort of sticking out of it. Some sort of propulsion unit just below the dome. And it does indeed seem like you may have found some sort of robotic assistance. One that hasn't fared very well in the attack upon the command center.
Mini Alpha. Peter will
Is it gonna
obviously
be
like
beta?
beta. Peter will say to everyone like to lend a hand to like kind of try and clear the rocks off of him.
Cal will assist.
Yep, absolutely, 100% in there.
Fantastic.
Would that be Braun?
It would be Braun. I'm going to say we'll make it a group check for all four of you, difficulty being 10. And what that means is a group check is that we need 2 or more of you to succeed to get it done. Like you're able to sort of leverage it.
Well,
There we go.
you two have to succeed. Good luck.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm rolling with a snag and all sorts.
now this is where stuff gets weird for my sheet, because I have no dice in my brawn, but because of my perk, I roll with a d2.
And no snag,
on the
which
skill
is very
shift-
important.
And no snag. Yeah. But on the skill shift, because I've got nothing in there, it says it thinks it's an automatic fail. So if I put it to 1d2, it reckons it's... So I'm going to put it as +1, which says fumble, but we'll see if it actually rolls a d2 for me.
Interesting. No
Difficulty
specification
10,
change.
normal, no snag.
Ah, I see what you mean, because it wants
did
you
roll
to
a
go
D2.
straight to... Interesting.
Yeah.
Um,
But yeah, I succeeded.
All right.
fantastic. And
Vic.
then we've got Vic, who's going to roll with a snag, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
That's a no.
Damn.
So
It's a big no on our end.
you are able, between the four of you, to shift the rocks, but as you're lifting one of the bigger rocks off of this small, partially dented robot, the sort of four of you are lifting it, and Peter starts losing his grip first. You can see the fingers slipping out from underneath it. Vic's not far behind, barely trying to hold on, and Cal, you can see like he's really trying. He's almost like got his arms, like his forearms underneath the rock, but he just can't. He's shaking, trying to lift it up, leaving just Q, who manages to shunt the rock off enough that it doesn't crush the robot completely as they drop it, but the already dented, banged about thing is missing an appendage completely by the time you are able to pull it out from the debris.
Are we also able to pull out the appendage?
I would say you're able to pull it out, but it's in about 4 or 5 pieces.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Oh, sorry. Didn't stretch before lifting. That's on me. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, I think we're running low on power or something. Like, don't seem to be as strong as I was before.
We're very
people-
alert, just not very useful.
Vic does just say, "Is like, I completely forgot to bend with my knees. I lifted with my back, and we all know it's the knees you're supposed to." I've read that. I've read it in a book. I'm sure I should have done. I'm so sorry, guys.
It's okay. We'll learn from this. We'll learn from this going forward.
Pete will instantly see if, although it's damaged and he won't be able to move, to see if we can try and at least turn him back on.
Make me a technology check. Vic is going to do the same. The difficulty is going to be 15 for this, though.
Could I assist?
I was going
I
to
got
say
a
yes, but he
16.
has made the check.
That's fine.
My man just did it.
He's just like, no, it's good. He
Fun.
watched Claydoyus Pete fixing up Alpha. And
I did watch
yeah,
Claydoyus Pete.
he's got
Very-
some inspiration there.
So he just kind of like opens up the panel on the back of him. He's just like, right, if I remember this correctly, this goes here, that goes there, this slides over there, that turns just there, and then you press that. Awesome.
Did you just do up, down, left, right, A, B, start?
I did up, down, left, right, A, B, A.
Ah.
The small robot, because that is essentially what it is, some small manner of robot that does resemble Alpha. You can hear a humming inside of it as whatever power source is trying to boot itself back up. There's a bit of a clicking noise as something seems to be getting stuck, some sort of fan that's catching, probably on the damage side. But it does float a little bit unevenly up into the air, and it kind of turns around looking at all four of you, looking at the damage, and swivels back over towards Q. And you hear a voice that definitely resembles Alpha's, although a little bit more bass in there. It's just like, Rangers.
Hello.
Yes.
Hey, Mini Alpha, how's it going?
What has occurred?
I think the command center was bombarded from orbit by a skeleton man.
There was
it
this
was
guy
the only
called
way to be sure.
this guy called Rito showed up. Apparently, he's not a good guy. Yeah, he kind of blew this place up.
Query. Where are remaining Rangers?
From what Alpha
Um,
told us, the other Rangers are in space.
Space and past. That's past with two S's, not past as in they've gone back to the past.
as in temporarily, yeah.
They have perished, I believe.
Clarification there is
I
important.
was going to say something, but it's inappropriate.
I feel like we all want to
Past
know
tense.
now.
You have to say it.
I was going to start quoting the Monty Python Dead Parrot sketch. I thought that was a little bit insensitive. Q would not do that at this point.
Q is still like in
Exactly,
emotional
yeah.
turmoil from having two of his mentors fucking iced and been aware that they are Power Rangers now.
Iced and or disappeared and or yeah.
Yep.
Betrayed.
There's a lot of emotions in the Red Leader right now.
You hear another you hear a statement this time, and it says statement, command center, warnings, multiple, fire suppression system, structural integrity, attack sensors, power sensors, cataclysmic event imminent.
We're
How
aware of
imminent
that.
is imminent?
Whoa.
Can you help
Pause.
us fix it?
That last one. Whoa. How do we stop that last one?
Power system needs repair.
Okay. And where is that?
Below.
Can you take
Okay.
us there? Can you show us what to do? Or tell us what to do?
He floats very wobbly. You can see there's something clearly not quite right in whatever system he uses to keep his balance. But he floats past the debris, past this sort of dining area to this area over here, which you can't see on the map because of the story points. But there we go. Let's move those down there out of the way a little bit. Where there is a barrier, 3 of them in fact, that do blink out of existence as the robot approaches them, and some form of hatch across the other side just hisses as it pops open and lifts up slowly with a ladder descending into the darkness.
So can we move through the barriers?
You can with the robot, yep.
Okay.
Let's go.
He does that thing where he approaches really slowly and then speeds up as he gets to another result.
Just like
All of
sticks
this futuristic barrier tech, and they didn't install an elevator as opposed to a ladder?
Budget restraints. They spend all of their money on the
system,
fancy barriers.
teleportation system damaged.
Oh, so this is the backup. The manual in case the power went out.
The B system.
Alright, let's head down this ladder.
As we're climbing down the ladder, Peter will ask little robot, so, big guy's Alpha, what's your name, dude?
Designation B-1127.
Do you not have a name?
Negative.
Guys,
We
we
will
need to name
call
the
you
robot.
Barry.
I was going to suggest Brian myself, but
Brian. Brian! Brian!
for that reason, yes.
I'm saying that.
I'm very sorry, but I'm going to have to agree with Cal here and say Brian.
You make it you make it down to the bottom of the ladder, which takes a couple of minutes. The ladder just seems to go deeper and deeper and deeper to the point where you wonder just how far below the surface this base actually reaches. But when you do get to the bottom, you see much more debris scattered about, and it looks like the ceiling had collapsed completely. Those holes that you saw in the sort of recreation area, and the debris is the actual construction of the ceiling / floor scattered across the hallway, stopping you from making any headway further down the corridor.
Brian, as we've now named you, how is there a way around this?
Negative. Teleportation system not functional.
Okay, no secondary route. There's no other down and up anywhere. It's just an impassable corridor.
I mean, there was that hole.
Yeah.
You see Brian.
I was going to say, Brian.
Gone.
How big of a gap is there between the floor above and this floor? How much of a drop?
632 foot.
Hmm.
Yeah, that doesn't.
We're not going to be able to superhero landing that one.
Mm-mm. Not with these knees.
Could we potentially use our blade blasters and blast the rocks into smaller rocks? You know, just turn them to dust.
Try it.
I mean,
Brian,
we are
how good are you at calculating probabilities?
I'm trying to think of something smart to say, and my brain just completely died, which is concerning.
Hello?
Yes,
I
is this
all of
working? I was trying
Hello?
to think of something smart to say, and my brain just was like, "No, there is no thoughts in here." They all walked away.
Head empty.
Yeah, Brian turns, and you see like the same sort of red lights across the dome as Alpha has, directing themselves towards Q, and he inquiry, "What do you wish me to calculate?"
If we used our blade blasters to blast this rock out of the way, what's the probability that we're going to bring the rest of the ceiling down on ourselves?
14%.
Okay, yeah, then let's use blade blasters.
Question, Brian. Is there a way to reduce that number more?
not in the time we have available to us before cataclysmic failure.
Would they not? Maybe me and Vic could like tune the blade blasters to like match a better frequency to destroy the rocks.
All tools nearby are in 2 rooms on either side of debris.
Okay, blade blasters is.
Everybody happy with that?
I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
let's
not
try.
going to be able to help.
It's fine.
Ah.
Targeting
do it.
is not a skill I have.
It's just shoot in the general
Targeting
direction.
is not a skill I have.
It's fine. There's a whole
Right.
load of rocks. It's basically like hitting a barn door is exactly what you want to do at this point.
Perfect.
I assume there's not particularly a difficulty.
No, and in fact, I'm not even going to ask you to roll for it. It is just a case of
It's too late.
and failed.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Nothing to see here.
You said there was no skill difficulty, so I just left it at 10. That's just at the basic. But
It is at this point. It's just a
No,
question of time.
You need
Go on,
Pete. You need to use the blaster, not the blade. Yeah.
shoot, not stab.
just throw the dagger at it. Like, damn it!
Just throws the
Jesus fuck.
pistol. It's just like catch. This is going to work.
Ah, yes.
Sorry, guys.
Ranged
I picked
weaponry.
It does take some time. You can see with the blade blasters as you're firing into it, several of the rocks, several of the construction materials. There's metals in there that do not at all look familiar. There is stone that does look very much like the stone on the mountains outside. So it does seem that they used at least some of the local material to build it. But as you're shooting into the debris, shot by shot, you see more and more cracks appearing on the debris blocking your path. And as the bits get smaller, Brian is able to sort of come in and, using his one appendage, drag them away. You hear scraping sounds across the floor and scratches being formed as he's not able to actually lift them properly because, again, someone let his arm be smashed to pieces.
Yeah, someone.
Someone.
Terrible fiend that.
The GM. Yeah.
Awful.
You are able to clear enough within the first few minutes that you can see 2 more rooms and 2 more barriers, although they're sort of flickering in and out of existence. In one of the room, it seems to be storage. You can see crates, boxes, machine parts, barrels, some sort of glass container that is currently venting a greenish gas that's slowly filling the room with stone across the floor next to it. Something's clearly fallen down and smashed the container. The room above you on the map seems to be some sort of design and fabrication room. You see a board, much like a whiteboard, although it's black. The screen itself is staticky. There's plans across it. There's another desk with a chair, some sort of engine over here in the corner with flames coming out of it. Tools scattered about on several work surfaces and cabinets, and what looks to be some quite advanced 3D printing assembly that, at the moment at least, is not operational. There's gone
Brian, what rooms are these?
storage room C17 and fabrication room BILLY-1.
And what is that green gas?
Unknown. Would you like me to test?
Please, because if it's something highly toxic, we probably need to fix that quickly.
Brian sort of whirs in again, wobbling in space as he does so. And as he comes to the green gas, you see the metal on his outside shell begin to scar. You see it,
Brian, come back, come back, come back, come back.
and as he does, he whirs straight back to you as per your order. But you can see he's whatever is in the gas is definitely burning away, eating away at the metal Brian is made up of.
Why did they have that in here?
I was just thinking it would be something like chlorine. Apparently not. Right, we need to seal this room as soon as we can. Straight ahead for main power, Brian?
Brian, what exactly was that? You seem to not be faring too well after that, dude.
Seems to be some form of acidic or nanite material capable of disintegrating metallic components.
Metallic component. Don't tell me one of us have to go in there like butt-ass naked to fix this thing.
Nobody wants to see that.
As long as you don't have any fillings.
How do we contain it?
Barriers should contain, however, power failure is disrupting barriers' ability to perform.
Okay, so power first. Power before anything else.
Power,
Yep.
power. There's always the first priority.
We push on towards Cerebro.
Who's overlapping? Oh, there.
It was me.
I just sort of a sudden went from 4 to 3 tokens. I was like, what did I do?
He's hiding.
Evaluated.
That panicked me just a little bit, I'm not going to lie.
It's okay, man. I'm right here.
You're able to shoot and blast your way through, moving the debris to the sides as the rocks and metal are broken up by the blade blasters, until you find yourself standing before a barrier that stretches across the width of the hallway. In front of you, you see 5 display units, 4 of them smashed to pieces. Some sort of barrier flickering in and out of place around a great big unknown object.
Brian.
This doesn't look good.
Well, one out of five is still here. So head to the console that's on, that's not destroyed, and see what's going on there.
Out of the corner of your eye, as you sort of head towards the console, you see Vic going over to examine one of the ones that's broken. The engineer in him sort of instantly thinking, what's this? What's it made of? How can I fix it? How can I make it better? What can I learn? Brian whirs over towards this great big unit in the center of the room, and you see the barrier, the hexagonal barrier around it, just flickering in and out of life. You can hear whirring that's almost overpowering, the vibration sort of traveling up your bones into your teeth. Everything about this just seems like danger, and your senses are on edge.
Fun. Brian, what's that?
Power unit.
Point into the... Oh, okay.
How do we fix the power unit?
He brings himself away from it and over towards the lone remaining console, and as he does so, it flickers to life. It takes a few seconds for the image to resolve, but it does seem to be some sort of schematic of the power unit with arrows pointing off of it in different areas, red text and warning signs just blaring, flashing over and over, highlighting a dozen different issues. Go ahead and make me another alertness check while this is happening. This one is a difficulty 12.
Do. Yeah, no, I was just checking to see if there was anything that I could use.
God damn it. All right, 3 more of those, and I'm just going to ask you if I can use my own dice.
Oh, yes.
Okay. As Brian is bringing this single display to life, both Peter and Q notice over here next to one of the damaged displays a single black feather. But in addition to that, as they look around the room, they realise that there's no debris in here. There's nothing that's fallen and damaged the screens. There's no reason why these are broken that you can see.
So it looks like these have been sabotaged rather than damaged in the attack.
But then why didn't they destroy the last one as well?
Maybe they were here before the attack happened, and as they were sabotaging it, then the attack hit,
Is there any
or
way,
we interrupted them and they ran away.
is there any
They
way
could
we can
also
check the
still be
history on
here.
the terminal?
Sorry, Pete, I missed that. One more time.
What was the question?
Sorry, is there any way we can check the history on the terminal?
On the one that's intact,
Yes.
Security
because
footage.
surely that would be the one that they would need to have used if they broke all the other ones.
you can roll me a technology check, difficulty 10.
Someone give me assistance.
I'll
I
assist.
can do it.
What does your teaching pack do again?
An additional edge.
Yay.
So you would roll with
With
edge
an edge.
and an upshift if it's an additional edge.
Oh, okay. Technology, no specialization. Upshift 1. What was the difficulty, did you say?
10?
10.
10.
Cool. Roll with edge. Yes.
Yay!
Knocked that out of the ballpark.
Shiny.
Peter is able to bring up a camera feed, and as he does, it does have today's time and date at the bottom, probably about 2 hours ago, give or take a few minutes, and everything's flickering. The lights are flickering as they are now. The camera itself seems to have suffered some damage, but you do see 4 humanoid figures just appear in the center of the room as if they had been teleported in. In the relative darkness, it's difficult to work out what or who they are, but as they approach the consoles, you can hear a high-pitched screeching noise as it's feeding back through the cameras, and what appears to be clawed hands smash down onto the displays, tearing the glass apart, blow after blow after blow. One of the figures approaches the system that's still intact and is trying to get it to work. You can see he's sort of pushing every button he can find, until it does flicker to life. At this point, it's showing that the power unit is still functional. There's a few amber lights popping up with some minor warnings, some damage that it sustained, but it does manage to get the barrier down enough, flickering in and out of life, for the other three figures to start attacking it, essentially. Clawed appendages tearing into metal. One of them even manages to find some sort of wrench that had been left behind at an earlier point and starts taking it to the barrier that's slowly flickering in and out. And then the screen cuts out. The recording finished.
Brian, what were those?
Unknown. Video footage distorted. Sensors
You said
did not go off.
you said we saw the feather, yeah?
You saw a single black feather down by
Pete
the broken display.
will pick up the single black feather and ask Brian if he's able to ascertain what it come from.
Brian's one appendage reaches over, and you can see that as he's sort of twisting himself around, he seems to be trying to reach over with the other appendage that's currently broken in several pieces, presumably left upstairs. Or did you guys?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd say.
Yeah.
Tests can be performed using laboratory equipment. Please pass over. Subject.
And Pete will hand him the feather.
He
Yeah.
does seem to be having some difficulty, as if like whatever damage he sustained is not quite getting worse, but the wear and tear of moving about is making things more difficult. He does clutch the feather and kind of bring it in. Where the appendage is, it actually disappears inside the body with the feather, and whatever it was seals itself back up, just leaving this roughly dome-shaped head, for lack of a better term, just floating in the air. Would you request analysis performed now?
Focus on the power thing first.
Yeah. First,
Yeah,
we
maybe later.
should get the power back online.
You see Vic has been examining all of the displays one by one, and he finally comes over to the one that is actually left still intact. And whilst the three of you had been talking to Brian the robot, he does begin tapping through, bringing up some information in front of himself. It's advanced. Whatever this power unit is nothing like he's ever seen before. Nothing like any of you have ever seen before. Nothing even theorized in your college textbooks. He kind of looks across at the three of you, just like, are we supposed to fix this?
Hopefully.
We couldn't even fix
Or at
Alpha.
least find a way- I mean, try again and all that.
Brian whirs
I will
over.
say, as if at first you don't succeed, don't blow it up.
Brian does whir over, and as he does, he says, 3 minutes remaining until cataclysmic failure.
Okay, Brian, tell us how to either fix this or shut it down.
Brian sort of slides down, like out of the air a little bit until he's hovering just over the display, and it becomes three-dimensional. You see the schematics but blown up. You see all of the parts that are failing, the connections between them that need to be redirected. it's a mess. Whether or not it's possible to physically fix it in the time remaining is anybody's guess. But as this happens, you do get a soft chime inside your helmets, sort of musical, and you do hear, "Aye, aye, aye, Rangers, can you hear me?"
Been waiting 4 episodes for that. We can hear you, Alpha.
I practiced, just for the record. Rangers,
Yeah, we read you loud and clear, Alpha. Go ahead.
sensors are showing that a cataclysmic failure of the power unit is imminent. We either have to redirect the explosion into an implosion and destroy only the command center, or somehow redirect the power to other systems and perhaps shield the command center once again and move it to a location that Rito does not know about.
Let's try the second one.
Yeah, assuming that's probably the more preferable option. How do we do that?
You see Vic instantly begin tapping on the display. He's working in
Fingers
3
flying on
dimensions.
keyboard.
Yeah, it's not even keyboards. It's like at this point everything is just floating in the air.
Oh my god.
It's just it's
wanna say-
3
Doing Minority
dimensions.
Report.
Yeah.
I want to say Pete is like standing directly over his shoulder, like
Just
watching
watching.
everything he's doing.
He's clearly getting some sort of report from Alpha, who's gone completely silent in the rest of your ears. Brian the robot is floating next to his other shoulder and watching what's going on. And again, he seems to be communicating with Vic, although using the same communication system as Alpha is. He's like turning the display, the schematics around. He's putting bits and pieces out, almost as if they're made of something. It's not just a simulation, but whatever he's doing to the actual projection is changing how the power is being routed through the unit. And you hear the noise begin to grow louder. The whine is higher pitched. The vibrations through your bones are getting worse until it's uncomfortable how painful it is.
Guys, for some reason I don't feel like that's a good vibration. It's a song.
That pain hurts to laugh.
Vic, talk to me, buddy. How we getting on?
I only have 2 minutes left, and this feels like at least 5 minutes worth of work. Every time I move one part, something else seems to break. And
Can we use a story point to give him 5 minutes in a 2-minute span?
it's just break time. No, that's
Give him an extra arm.
yeah, that's probably coming in about 2, well, I suppose 3 if we count Adventures in Angel Grove. Books time. Time,
Time dilation.
yeah,
Redacted.
yeah, completely redacted at the moment at the very least. But we know the second source book is going to be time related, just for the record.
But it won't arrive in time
No.
for us.
Ironically.
We're going to be very, very dead in 2 minutes.
Yes. Vic, if you could see his face, like you can imagine sweat like just dripping down. The room is getting hot. Noticeably, the temperature is rising as the excess power is being wasted, just heating the air around you. It's not doing anything positive. The whole thing seems like it is going to explode.
Pete will say to Vic, is there anything we can do to help? Like, what about the morphers? Can we redirect some of the energy through the morphers instead?
He glances towards Brian, who then starts talking audibly for the first time in a minute. you can kind of feel the time slowly ticking away. Suggestion recommended. However, time unavailable. Redirecting
What do we-
energy to morphing grid. Potential solution.
Okay.
How much time would that take?
You can hear Brian calculating the time, the probability, how long it would take to teach you, how long it would take to get everything working with only one display unit, and 5 minutes.
Okay, can we slow the eventual cataclysmic event any so that we can get that working?
Vic's performance has added 13 microseconds to detonation.
Fantastic.
Great. So what do we
Okay,
do?
so the other option of implosion rather than explosion, how long will that take to rig?
1 minute 47 seconds.
Do that.
You see
Do that now.
You see
Right,
Brian
so-
whir over towards the display. He's trying to interact. His appendage, the one appendage, comes out, and you can see he's trying to move everything about. But almost as he does, Vic reaches over and grabs hold of whatever part he's moving and sort of pulls it away, moves something else there instead. He seems very focused on trying to do this the right way. And with only one appendage, Brian isn't in the best condition to be fighting him. You hear Alpha once again just, Rangers, aye, just teleportation still down. If you're not going to be able to stop this, you need to leave.
Vic, you got this?
He just nods. He doesn't even look up at you. He just nods. There's no words. His hands are still moving independently of one another, it almost seems. He is, whatever he's doing, whatever sort of 4D chess that he's been playing in his spare time, it's beyond what Peter has been learning at college. Cal knows how to build buildings, knows how to sort of tear them down, but this is, again, beyond anything he's ever seen. And I would imagine probably the same for Q, unless Q's been hanging out at some very strange science shows in his spare time.
Unlikely. I do know somebody, a scientist presenter, who does do dance and science combined, but no.
Side note, I really want to see that. I
It
really want to
was
see that now that you've
used
said
also
it.
to demonstrate the movement of electrons through shell patterns and stuff.
I'm intrigued.
Jesus.
I'm intrigued. We'll have to speak about this afterwards.
Incredible.
But Vic
Yeah.
does nod. He at the very least thinks he has it. And you know, based on how long it took you to get down there, if you don't start heading up soon, there's not going to be enough time.
Peter, Cal, get out of here now.
No way, dude. I'm staying. I'm helping Vic.
But we're not helping Vic.
We are kind of just.
Either Vic's got this or it's over. We've already lost two Rangers this week.
After seeing the Vic's head nod, Cal's like, I trust him. And then Cal's going to head out.
No, I'm at a moral dilemma. Do I leave Vic or do I stay?
Look, believe in
have faith?
your crew. Believe
Yeah.
in your friends. He said he's got this. So there's nothing else to do.
Okay, I guess we start heading out then.
Being a Power Ranger is a group activity.
Which is why we should all stay.
He wants to stay with Vic because he doesn't think that people should be alone.
He's got Brian.
Yeah. I think. Vic, tell us what to do.
He doesn't look up. you can feel the heat getting hotter, sweat pooling on your foreheads as the room gets dangerously warm. But he does say, I've got this, in probably the most cheerful voice you've heard out of him since you met him.
I wish I could do an insight check.
You could make an alertness check. I will say the difficulty. 1 second. Let's have a look. The difficulty is going to be 16.
Okay. This is where I can do with that 21. Or not, is it?
You think he's got this? He sounds pretty confident. You know, he's normally not the most talkative of people, but he does sound as if he knows what he's doing. What you're watching seems to be, you know, he's got Alpha in one ear, he's got Brian in the other.
Okay, so if Vic really thinks he's got this, I agree. We should leave, we should get outside, and we should try, if things do go awry, we should try and figure out a way to kind of minimize the damage spread.
Yeah.
That or see if there's anyone
just-
who's currently on the mountain who needs to be evacuated.
Any interested climbers? Yeah. Q authoritatively just says, everybody out, and he goes as well.
The three of you make your way through the debris-strewn hallway. You've managed to clear enough of it away that it only slows your movement a little bit. You're able to run, essentially, towards the ladder and start climbing as fast as you possibly can. It's like arms
We're
and
more,
legs
do we
are
not
burnt.
jump?
It's a very high jump. Like, very
So
high.
just to get you a start on the ladder.
Yeah, just like jump up, catch, jump up, catch. It's not even climbing, it's just like throwing yourself up the ladder.
You use your sword as a whip to pull yourself up and then whip again.
Yeah.
Swung, swung, swung.
I like it. It's creative. It's just, I can actually see that now. Just Q, just like throwing himself up, one arm and both legs, and just whip catch the thing, pull himself, throw himself back up.
Holding the other two, so like he's got Cal's hand, Cal's got his hand, and as he whips up, he throws the other two up, and then like
Like a chain of monkeys.
grabs them again. What?
Yeah, no, apart from the fact that Q has not used his
No.
sword in whip mode yet. So I don't even know if he's worked out that he can do that yet. He's not played.
I thought you had used it in mode.
Just sword mode.
Nope.
Ah, I thought you had used it as the whip and took out three of them at the same time.
No, I think you're the only one
No,
that's
I-
showing off.
With your extendo blade. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I used
He can
the
make extendo
sword.
blade, he use extendo blade.
I used the sword, but I rolled particularly well, so I cut 2 targets at once.
Ah,
But yes,
Alright
we
then.
flee.
You do flee. You're able to make
The
it
hell out of here.
to the top of the ladder, through the hatch, and into the recreation room. You can see a timer that Alpha has put on the bottom corner of your heads-up display that's just counting down the seconds. Go on.
As we run past the ranger cells, Q is going to veer off sharply to grab a photo or two, as many as he possibly can that were just there in
puts
his
an
red
arm
room.
up on the wall and sweeps the whole thing down into like his arms.
Yeah. He'll
I was-
grab, if they're framed, he'll grab just one, but he would like to get as many as he can to then play with.
I will say there's a cork board attached to the wall that's got loads of photos
Just grab
stuck
the
to it, and Q is able to just like rip the board off the wall. He misses like a quarter of it as he literally just rips it off, and some of it gets broken. But
Yeah.
there's easily half a dozen photos pinned there, all with red like drawing pins.
Red tacks, yeah.
Yeah, just because. You're able to run towards the other ladder, up the ladder, out onto the surface of the mountain, where you can see the remains of the putties that you defeated before finding your way down. And the seconds are just ticking away. 15, 14, 13, 12.
Come on, Vic.
Do you
Tactical
run?
retreat. Keep moving away.
You keep running down the mountain, like literally bounding down, as it.
Keeping an eye out for
Angle.
anyone who
Yeah.
might be on this mountain. I don't think
Yeah.
I don't think there would be that many people, considering this mountain exploded 2 days ago. Like, a giant laser from space came down and like hit this mountain. So I don't assume any hikers would be like, "That's the trail we're doing."
No.
But still,
No.
keeping an eye out. Keeping an eye out for
Let's
some of the
face
weirder
it.
ones.
Let's face it, if they are doing it, then it's probably natural selection in progress.
And
We
just,
can't.
just for the record, this is less than 24 hours has gone past. Like, this is all
Oh my God.
essentially 1 weekend of your introduction to being Power Rangers. And what an introduction.
I've just got Q in my head, like skidding, like sliding down the side of this mountain with the pinboard above his head going, "Do you think it ever gets any easier?"
Probably not, dude.
Wouldn't count on it.
The timer: 5, 4, 3, 2.
Everybody ready to do a dramatic jump?
Dramatic jump.
Feel a shockwave rumble across the mountain. You, from behind you, can see out of the corner of your eye part of the top part of the command center that you'd search through for the secret, like the hidden entrance, just collapse in on itself, and part of the mountain sinks in. Rocks begin to slide down into what is now a inverted pyramid, essentially, that's
No.
torn into the side of the mountain. And you hear a loud boom, and then absolute silence for several seconds, until
Straight away. Oh, gone, Carol.
you hear Alpha once more. Rangers?
Yeah, coming,
Yeah,
Alpha.
Alpha, we're here.
What happened? Is Vic okay?
He's managed to teleport the command center somewhere safe.
Okay.
Define
well, where's
safe.
Vic?
I think it's best I teleport you to see for yourselves.
Understood.
Okay.
Okay.
You find yourself teleported into the recreational area that you had only seconds ago managed to escape. You stand next to the display unit that's broken, fractured into so many pieces. Let's move that. And
If we're now in the volcano, if we now have an evil villain volcano layer, I will be so happy.
oh, I feel really bad now. You feel a eerily familiar coldness. The same coldness you feel inside Tor.
Are
And
we underwater?
yeah,
know it.
Oh.
there's no volcano there, I'm afraid. I really feel like I almost changed my mind.
To be
there, but
fair,
I have plans.
Underwater layer is a pretty super villain thing as well. Has no one seen G.I. Joe?
It's been a long time since
They
I've
have
seen
a
it.
water.
Long road. Yeah.
There's
Mm.
like what seemed to be at first to be a picture frame upon the wall in front of you, but it is actually a display unit itself like a big screen. It was showing a nice view of what looked to be some sort of prehistoric forest, but is now showing fish swimming through water. And Alpha just... Rangers, he teleported you near Tor.
Okay.
Oh,
So where's Vic?
yeah. Is the power stabilized after the explosion? What's... You managed to teleport us, so the teleporting is back online.
You can't hear any response, not from Alpha, but no response from Vic. And you've always been able to see like a sort of readout from the other Rangers of how damaged they are. It's only sort of in the bottom left of the screen, not particularly big unless you focus on it. But where Vic's was, there's just a empty space. You can see each other. You can see that Cal is a little bit bruised from his fight with the putties that surrounded him. Both Q and Peter seem to be absolutely fine, but there's just no readout showing Vic at all.
Q runs towards the hatch to go back down to the power.
Cal follows.
I'm assuming Peter also follows.
He will indeed. Sorry, 2 seconds.
That's okay. Just flicking backwards and forward through the maps. Ooh, I'm just going to have a drink very quickly. Need Michael to undisappear because I don't know if he can hear us.
I'm just updating my notes. Whilst we have a slight dramatic
Just dramatic pause.
advertising break.
And in fact, what I'm going to do, because I'm not sure where Michael has gone, but I'm going to cut to the intermission a little bit earlier than we would normally. We will be with you in just over 10 minutes, people.
That's just me. So you can ignore
Hello,
that.
everybody. We are back. Everybody's back, including Michael, who ran off just for a moment. Yeah. So the three of you are able to rush down to the power room where you'd left Vic and Brian, and you see the field of blue that seemed to be flickering in and out of existence is much more vibrant, steady. It's thrumming almost with energy. The temperature in the room has dropped drastically. What you don't see, however, is either Brian or Vic.
Um,
Damn it.
is there any evidence that they were even here? No morpher, no coin, no.
As you walk
Anything?
closer, and as Peter walks around, Q walks around the consoles, you do find a coin bearing the unicorn's head just on the floor.
Pete will pick it up and be like, guys, I don't think Vic made it. And like hold up the coin.
Damn it.
Like, dude, he said he had this.
You tap. Initiates his communicator through his helmet. However, we do that because I don't think that's ever established. You just speak to Alpha and he hears you.
Voice activated, yeah. Alpha? Yes.
All right, I see. Alpha's the macro command line. The connection to got you. Alpha. We have Vic's coin, but there's no sign of Vic
Poor Brian.
or Brian.
Don't forget Brian. Rangers.
Man, I can't believe we made we put a Brian in the campaign just to immediately kill him. That's wild. No offense to the real Brian. No offense meant.
Just for the record, just there is an actual Brian NPC to appear in the future.
All right, cool. That's gonna give us.
We should have gone with
Yeah.
Barry.
You should have gone with
give us
Barry.
PTSD.
I don't have to have any conversations with Brian in the meantime.
Yeah.
But you do. Rangers, there were 2 teleportation attempts before the explosion, and the amount of energy required for the first was far less than the amount of energy required to teleport the command center. I do think perhaps Vic and maybe Brian escaped, but even with his watch, I'm not able to pinpoint his location anywhere on Earth.
Okay, but why would he have left his coin?
Because in the event he knew he was going to be leaving Earth, he knew we'd be down a ranger.
Another ranger.
He's smart like that.
Yeah,
Or it's a sign that he's not dead. The fact that he left it alive and didn't get vaporized.
You hear a slight buzz as Alpha himself teleports over to the command center. For the first time in a long time, Alpha has left the... Oh, sorry, I just had a funny moment and I realized why. I've got... My brain's all confuzzled.
17 alphas appear.
Yes. No alphas were appearing, and I realised why, but it took a moment. He walks over in his waddly fashion and puts a hand out towards Peter for the coin.
He will hand it over.
He steps out the way.
He places it on the display, and as he does, it instantly shows readouts that make no sense to you. Whatever language they're in, it is not one taught at the college. Even with the alien linguistics programs that are being introduced with refugees fleeing to Earth, this is not one of them.
People ask Alpha what language it is. And what does it say?
The script is in Altarian. The Rangers, it would appear as if Vic was able to reroute the excess power through his coin. It would suggest that he was not wearing it at the time he was teleported away.
That's either a really good or a really bad thing. Because that means that Vic's out there somewhere with no ability to morph. We don't know where he is.
Arthur, have we averted the impending cataclysm?
He brings up that same projection of the power system, and there's a few amber warnings. Wherever the power was rerouted, there still seems to be some issues. But he does slowly nod his dome-shaped head and just... Affirmative, Rangers.
Okay, so what do we fix next? From the security footage we saw before the center teleported, it looked like there were intruders. Could they still be somewhere in the command center? Can we locate them yet if they are here? Can we scan?
Alpha activates something on the screen in front of him, and you do see a light travel from the ceiling down to the floor. It sort of passes through you, and on display it registers the locations of all four of you in the power room. But he also presses another button, and several of the robots, like Billy, slide out of holes in the wall.
Like who? Sorry, Matt?
Like Billy, sorry, like Brian. I'm not sure who Billy is.
He's been gone 2 minutes and you've forgotten who he is already.
The reason why I was saying Billy is because I was thinking of the storage room that they were coming out of,
That
which
was
was
Billy,
Billy. Yes, they slide out of holes in the walls of the storage room and begin fanning out through the base, just acting as security / maintenance crew. Rangers, there appears to be some sort of caustic fumes in one of the storage rooms. I could get one of the robots to fix it, but it appears to be eating through the metal in the floor and the walls. And
will our suits protect us from it?
I'm calculating a 96.24 possibility that they will.
That'll work, Q says. Not being the most mathy of people, he'll go, yeah, sounds about right. What do we need to do?
There is an extraction unit in the room. It's quite possible that it's been clogged up with some of the debris. It should have kicked in automatically, but it doesn't seem to be working at current. Perhaps just clear the debris from the room, make sure the device is functional.
Okay, let's go. And Q heads off.
Peter will come to assist.
Cal is gonna go put that fire out.
I was like, it's all well and good, guys, but there's a fire in this room, and I don't like fire. It gets
Very
everywhere.
unsafe.
Yeah.
And we need this oxygen now more than ever. Now that we're under the sea.
Must resist.
Yes, thank you, Sebastian.
That's what popped into my head too.
Don't.
Darling, it's better down where it's wetter. Yeah.
Ugh, no, can't continue with that line of thinking.
No.
We're gonna get sued, and none of us have money.
Not to fight the mouse,
No.
certainly not.
Yeah, who
Um,
here has Disney fighting money? Because it isn't me.
Cal is able to
Um,
grab a fire extinguisher off of the wall. The room definitely seems to have been designed for fabricating parts, experiments, machinery. There's tools everywhere, but very carefully placed. Like there's an outline around all the tools so that everything is in the right place. There's a few that have been knocked over in the teleportation and the sudden reappearance of the command center in the attack, but for the most part everything has a place and everything is in its place. It's the room of somebody with a lot of focus.
it's like a wasabi workshop.
And as he does put
Oh.
out the fire, he can see what appears to be some sort of jet turbine. Sleeker than anything he's seen in a passenger jet. Even scorched by the fire, it seems to be almost perfectly intact. The technology involved in its creation is definitely years ahead of anything being built on Earth, at least as far as you're aware. Meantime, Q and Peter are able to enter the storage room. There's a few seconds of doubt, perhaps, as they first step in to a room that's almost completely bathed in this green gas. But if it is eating through their suits, it is doing so at a far slower rate than it did eat through parts of Brian the robot.
Be safe, dude.
Q says, we're forever doomed to speak at the same time. Q says to Pete, can you get the rubble? I'm going to be like the boy who stuck his finger in a duck. Q goes over to try and cover the hole.
I was thinking, wait, what?
That's completely lost on me.
It just
It's
Someone needs to go talk to that boy. Why is he sticking his finger in ducks?
Why is it in a duck?
I think Matt knows. Sidebar whilst Matt recovers, it's a Buffy line. So when they're talking about if they have to plug a gap in the Hellmouth to stop all evil coming through, and Buffy goes, like the boy who stuck his finger in a duck. And Angel goes, no, it was a dike. And she looks confused. He goes, it's a sort of dam. And she goes, oh, well, that story makes much more sense now.
I see.
yeah. Yeah, I'm not touching that. Q is basically able to sort of like use both hands to kind of cover the hole, and it does stop the slow of the gas, whilst Peter is able to start pulling the debris off of the work surface, off of what seems to be some sort of ventilation unit specially built to extract any noxious gases from the storage room. As Q is covering this broken tank, he does feel a slight prickling sensation in his fingers. Concentrated on such a small surface area comparatively, it does seem to be eating at the armor provided by the grid just a little bit faster than it otherwise would have.
How are we doing, Pete? This is feeling spicy.
I'm getting there.
I want
Do I need to?
Peter to make me a brawn check, difficulty 10, and then a technology check, difficulty 10. We're just going to work out how quickly Peter is able to get this done.
Can Q use his teaching ability to help me?
I would say not
Um,
from over there with the brawn, maybe with the technology.
What difficulty did you say? Sorry.
Both 10s.
and across the board.
I'm not moving the rocks very far. So, say you can give it to me on this one. Okay. Skill share.
That's if Q wants to.
Yeah,
He might be a little bit too concentrating on the spicy sensation.
Hey, crit.
Ooh, and is an actual crit as well? Oh, fantastic!
Mm.
Wouldn't have mentioned it if it wasn't.
Yes, sorry.
I know what I'm looking for.
And just instantly now, just go
Even
to
if
that.
Roll20 doesn't.
Yes.
I am a better user interface than Roll20. Heard it here first.
A panic interface.
So-
Panicked interface.
I have to throw this out very quickly. This popped up the other day as I was thinking this through. Roll20 are kind of in a terrible position at this point because if they fix the D2 not critting, that's all well and good, but there's at least one instance in both the G.I. Joe and the Transformers book which uses the same mechanic where you can crit on a D2. Very
That's dumb.
specific mechanics.
That's really
very
stupid.
specific mechanics. So if they fix it critting on the D2, then that's all well and good. But for those very specific instances where it can,
Why?
They'll need to
Why
read
would
it
they
off the
make-
perk sheet
Yeah.
and
Why would they-
attribute. Yeah.
Why would they make a reasonable rule like you can't crit on a D2 because obviously you can, and then immediately addendum with it if
Yeah.
the moon is if the
there's
moon is
only-
in the right phase and a goat has milked recently.
there's only 2 roll perks I can think of across both of them, like one in each. But there is one in each at least where it is an exception
Yeah.
to the rule. So they're
Anyway,
kind of damned if they do,
focus.
damned if they don't. But
Yeah. Unless it's red.
oh,
Oh, he's dead.
who
He's
did we
actually
lose?
dead.
Oh no, we lost Jay.
The middle of talking. Are you okay?
I'm back. Yeah.
The middle of saying something, you just straight up died.
It's
Perfect.
just like literally vanished. Peter isn't very quick to move the rocks. He's still clearly lifting with his back and not his knees. He didn't stretch beforehand. And he's not as strong as he thinks he is. But whatever time he lost on moving the rocks, he does make up for in fixing the ventilation system. He's
You should
able
just press
to...
1.
I just press 1. He's able to
Yes.
find a loose connection as he sort of looks up, and there is, fortunately for him, a few tools nearby that had been left by the last inhabitants of the command center. He's able to reconnect it, and as soon as he does, you just hear the air being pulled from the room as warning sirens start flashing. Warning. Toxic gases detected. Please vacate storage
Oh,
room
shit.
immediately.
Sounds like our. Yeah. Q turns around and Pete's already out the door.
It's just like, it's time we... Oh, okay. As you do leave, the barrier springs up immediately behind you, where the power has been restored through the base. Everything seems to be working more efficiently, and it even darkens to a deeper shade of blue as it forms a more impassable field between you and the room. And you just see
Hey, guys,
all
everything
of this
going on all
green
right?
gas being sucked into the corner of the room where Peter was.
Hey guys, everything going on all right? The fire. I've got the fire out.
Hughes is just kind of holding up his hands, which are kind of smoking a little where the armor gloves are, I guess.
Oh yeah, that doesn't look good. Could I
dude.
possibly make a medical check? I don't.
Can I take the gloves off? Do the gloves come off the suit? Can I?
As you do hold your hands up, there are a few patches that they've sort of eaten through what appears to be an outer layer of armor into almost like a bodysuit that's underneath. But even as you hold your hand up to show Cal, to show Peter, the armor slowly begins to repair itself, forming a seal
Oh.
once again.
Yeah.
That's incredibly handy.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
It is incredibly handy.
Joking to cope with the pain.
Alpha,
Yeah. Okay, Alpha, what next? Quickly, please. Save us.
Tasks. More
Rangers,
tasks.
the maintenance robots are removing debris all over the base and ensuring that there's no additional damage. Perhaps take time you need.
Free time.
Yeah, he says, right, well, I'm gonna check out my room.
I guess those are ours now, huh? And
Do we
Cal,
have a teleport interface now?
yeah, can we? I believe last session we did figure out how to work the teleporters in the watches.
You did indeed.
Yeah, just in the settings and Omnitrix.
You find in the settings of the watches something that just resembles a icon for a bed.
Up.
A bed pops out of the floor.
It summons a bed.
Much better than the alternative. We're just bouncing backwards and forwards between these two maps over and over again today.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Can I zoom out? Can I really? How much? Oh, can I show? Yeah, I can show all of the rooms at the same time. They're
Nice.
still a little bit damaged. There is still debris scattered about in them. You can see and hear the robots already beginning to clear the sort of common area. Fortunately, the fire has been put out. The smoke has cleared as the ventilation system is working once again. A little bit in overdrive, having all the smoke having to be extracted and fresh oxygen kept topped up in your new hidden from Rivolto secret location.
Is it red bias that my room's already been cleaned?
Your room just doesn't seem to have been as damaged. It is red bias.
Yeah.
If Rio was able to locate the center, stopping him from relocating it.
You're cutting in and out.
You are indeed. Have you taken your headphones off, sir?
I did take my headphones off. Am I better now?
Yes, you were too
Bet,
far
yeah.
away.
Yes. Like seeing as Rio location.
And once again,
You're still doing
You
it.
are.
Put your headphones on.
I think what Pete was trying to say was, given that Rito found us once, is there a risk that he is going to find us again, even though we are under the sea?
Yes, if he was able to track the location of the command center once, could he do it again?
Are you asking Alpha, or are you posing the question to yourselves? Is this a discussion?
I am indeed asking Alpha.
Rangers, it depends on how he was able to locate the command center the first time. If it was by observation, perhaps over the years during which his sister and Lord Zed fought the Rangers initially, then no. If they have some way of locating the command center alternatively, then yes.
I have a bit of a theory. Is there any way you can trace the energy that was used to destroy the command center and see if it was used anywhere else, like recently?
It will take a few minutes, Rangers, but yes, we should be able to perform a scan and see.
Awesome.
When Cal got teleported to his room, he just made his way into the bathroom in the back, unmorphed, and is just kind of like sitting slumped against the wall, thinking about Vic. Being like, "Damn, that shit. There was nothing I could do, and it still hurts." Yeah, Cal's gonna be in there for a minute.
Turns the shower on just for the noise and just sort of sits back and just.
Mhm. Yeah. Oh my god. Being a Power Ranger is really stressful.
So Q has returned to his room and picks up the 3/4 of the notice board that he ripped out on his way out the first time, and attempts to replace it back where it was, and starts to consider the photos more closely, seeing Jason and Rocky and Tommy and Kimberly and a bunch of other people that he didn't necessarily recognize, but who he had seen kind of over the years hanging out around Angel Grove with the people that he did know. Lists of questions start to form in his head, because he knows from what has been mentioned that there are Rangers fighting a war somewhere else off in space, and he's working through the various slowly he's working through the various logic hoops of, are all of these people Rangers, or were they all one team, but some of them were friends and not Rangers? Were some of them Rangers that have since died, and that's why the other ones were called? He's trying to rationalize or figure out if the people that he knew might still be alive and elsewhere, in the same vein that hopefully Vic is alive and elsewhere, or whether they are most likely dead. And yeah, whilst he's lost in his mind racing and kind of running like a boulder downhill, the emotion of knowing that Kim and Tommy dead and gone, that wave of emotion hits him, and he just silently lets that realization in, and he just starts crying.
While this is happening, what is Peter doing?
Pete also demorphs. He was in his room. He's come out, and he's standing outside the White Ranger room, just like put his hand up against it to see if it'll let him in. But I'm going to assume no.
Nope.
And obviously he knows that was Tommy's room, and that's kind of where he wants to go, just so he can have a look around and just kind of feel the essence of his former mentor again, innit? While he's doing that, he also reflects on the fact that, holy damn, okay, this is actually serious. We lost someone today. I don't know if we're going to find him. I don't know really what to do. So upon this realization, he's going to go down towards the end of the room, outside Cal's room. And I want to say he kind of radios both of them, to see if they wanted to come out and just kind of talk, kind of get some of this shit off our chest.
Cal hears the radio. He splashes some water on his face, stands up, and makes his way out. I don't know how clear it would be, but like Cal is for sure putting on a brave face to try not to bring the mood down even further.
Don't worry, Pete is doing the same. It's like feigned smile on his face, like
Yeah,
Yeah.
there is nothing happy about this situation, but we're trying.
Q takes a bit longer. So he is again trying to do the that teenager's nothing wrong with me, everything's fine. Yeah, no, my eyes are just red because I'm the Red Ranger. It's like biological Red Ranger vibe. He kind of does the series of breaths to try and pull himself back together, and he kind of wanders out. He's left his helmet on the desk, and actually, I could have just demorphed my character for a second. There we go. Choose.
Just sitting on one of the couches that isn't on fire or destroyed.
we put the fire out.
The fires are out, but the couch is still
fires are
burnt,
out.
so avoiding
Yeah.
the burnt parts.
Yeah. Just starts rearranging scatter cushions to cover the stains.
I
Um,
grid tech sofa, so it will just rebuild itself like the suits.
It's like sitting on the sofa, like kind of absentmindedly watching the robots like frit about, removing debris and stuff. It's like, man,
feeling slightly awkward. Yeah.
these would be so useful everywhere else. They're so fat. Look at that. They're just like taking rubble, dematerializing it, getting it out of there. They're just so good at their jobs.
Even with like the holes in the floor, they already seem to be patching them over with something to make it more structurally sound, but also less likely someone will leap to their doom.
Q pulls out his phone and does it like taps it a few times, and it starts playing the well-known theme from The Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Yes, the well-known theme from The Sorcerer's Apprentice. That's legally ambiguous.
It's classical music, so I think it's technically rights free. But yeah, that well-known piece of music, just because he finds distraction and deflection.
It works.
Yeah.
It's like the future version. If that movie took place and instead of becoming a magic guy, he became like a sci-fi guy. Just had these things flying around, cleaning everything. Just talking with no substance. Just.
I've got that in my head now.
You are welcome. I can add it to the playlist. My work here is done. Thank you and good night.
No. You.
Yeah, so
Go on.
sorry.
No.
I was going to say Q just kind of comes out and he sits on the arm of the sofa with his feet on the seat, and he goes, never mind this getting any less chaotic. Do you think it just always sucks like this? That everyone's always just dying for no reason?
We can't let it be like that. We gotta do better. That's all we can do at this point.
I mean, at this point, Pete is just sprawled out across this long bit of the sofa, like just laying there like shit. He'll kind of like roll over to his side to like face everyone, and like say like we did our best. Yeah, we need to like do better, but we trusted our team and shit went south. Like, yeah, it sucked, but we've been Rangers for what, a weekend?
A
Like,
day?
we will get better. Like, I know it.
It's been a day.
It's been
3
a
are
day,
dead.
and 3 Rangers have died.
To be
Well,
fair,
2 dead
Died or
and
lost.
before we
Died-
were Rangers.
died or lost.
MIA.
Yep.
Like we'll maybe I'll.
We're going to be
find it.
like,
I don't
Yeah.
know.
we're going to be like Damazon, and soon we'll have recruited everybody. We'll have nobody left to like bring on board.
If we turn everyone on the planet into a ranger,
the
aliens will have no shot.
No one will die. Yeah.
aliens have no
Fuck
chance.
you all. It's morphing time, and the whole planet just goes in this big
The
shield
whole-
of color.
A whole planet
Bring
of
it.
rangers
Just all of a
couldn't
sudden,
even touch us. I think I'm gonna actually need to learn how to fight.
We've probably got one of those training facilities, a bit like we did with Tor, here somewhere. And, you know, I think we could all do with some kind of training because we're just making this up and it's not working.
yeah, we are kind of making this up.
Yeah, all those years ago,
You-
when I saw them leaping into battle, doing all those crazy flips and kicks and punches and stuff, I never imagined that at any point it could have been like this.
Yeah, they made it look so easy.
Even
But-
even if they ever like got defeated, you know, they would all stand back up and just keep doing it.
Maybe that's what we need to do. It's rule 5. It's indomitable spirit. No matter what gets thrown at us, we have to keep going because we are that last line. No one else can do what we do. So, if day 1 is the worst, if day 1 is our hardest, then day 2 is going to be better.
Hell
We
yeah.
can do this.
We can do
And
this.
I mean, we've stopped how many? We stopped Rito's attack. We stopped 2 rounds of putties, one before we were even Rangers. Then we've defeated another round of putties, and we survived an
pig.
emu attack. We
pig.
fought a pig.
Fought a pig.
Yeah.
And we did
So,
really
yeah,
good
in the
against that
grand-
pig. You guys kicked that pig's ass. It was awesome.
So, yeah, let's maybe put today behind us and not take this as the entire
Yeah.
summation of our careers.
It's a rough
And-
rough start, but we're gonna smooth these bumps out.
I mean,
The
yeah,
only way is up. Things can only get better.
yeah.
Just no more dying. That's an order.
Rule number 6, or whatever
Yeah.
we're up to.
Yeah.
Just slap an addendum on the Power Ranger rule set. Not allowed to die anymore.
Yeah. Just don't promise me you will not die ever.
I'll work on it, Chief.
Yeah.
yeah, we'll do
Team
our
America.
You hear
Um,
a faint chime coming from your watches. It would also. be
Can I just
coming
like
from-
sync it to my phone?
Yeah, you just like you do. You hear
Sync the
this.
phone.
Yeah, kind of
beep, 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 beep.
something like that. And Rangers, I need you down here, please.
On our way,
Excellent.
Alpha. Do you need us morphed?
No,
All right, let's head on.
Let's teleport.
Yeah, teleport button.
no, never walking again.
Hey,
Tele-
no.
multiple times I will teleport a step forward. Just like 1, 2, 3.
Like every time we try and play the red light, green light game, nobody.
They can't. They
Done
can't
it.
get us.
Finished.
I'd win Squid Game so easily.
You are teleported down back into the power room where Mouse, who you haven't seen since the night before, who you knew was looking after her siblings and her mum, is in the end of a shouting match. I say shouting match, she's shouting Alpha doesn't seem to be raising his voice whatsoever.
Alpha is backing down. He's
Yeah.
like, nope,
Just
nope,
sort
nope,
of
nope.
leaning backwards as if he could get away, he would. If the console wasn't there and the barrier for the power generator wasn't
If there
there,
wasn't
yeah,
the
he'd be
equivalent of a Power Ranger nuclear reactor right next to him.
yes. But as you do appear, you just hear, "He's dead! Or at least he's gonna die, and I can't. I've got my siblings, my mum. I can't do this. I can't be a Power Ranger." And you see Mouse throw the coin, and before Alpha could even try to catch it, it just bounces off his chest and strikes the ground.
This seems like a bad time.
Yeah. Hey, everything all right, guys? Like,
Clearly not.
he'll just kind of like pick up the coin, kind of like go to hand it back to Mouse, be like, "You need this."
Mouse turns round and just crosses her hands, her arms across her chest, and she looks angry would be an understatement.
He'll just kind
There
of
is a palpable barrier. There is tension that you could cut with a knife. And she looks at all three of you and just, you can't be like, you've got to agree with me. We can't do this. There's, 2 Rangers died before this even began, and now Vic's gone. I only really got back in touch with him after all of those years yesterday, and he's gone. He's teleported God knows where. He's probably dead by now already, out there in a universe.
Hugh holds up his hands and just says, "It's okay. We get it. It's a lot, and it sucks, and it's a big sacrifice to ask of anybody to put themselves and their lives, and potentially the lives of their loved ones, in the line of fire.
So
If you're
going to quit too
don't
then?
want to, no, I can't.
Can't do
I
that.
have other reasons that pull me towards this, but I completely understand and accept why you might not feel the same. But know that even if you're not with us, that doesn't mean that we're not with you.
It'll
We're
be
Power
your
Rangers.
funeral.
We'll always defend it. We'll always defend this Earth. No matter what.
She turns
We don't
towards Peter before he can say anything, just because he's the only one that hasn't said anything at this point. And she sort of... You saw those kids. They looked up to the Power Rangers. I get it. You looked up to the Power Rangers. You wore the costume before this even became a thing. But think about your parents. I mean, you've got to have parents, maybe brothers, sisters. What would happen if you went? Just like Tommy, just like Kimberly. Like, Vic has now gone. His dad disappeared. He died 10 years ago when the Rangers were here last. Like, we can't go through this again. Just give them whatever they want and just let them go.
That's the point. They want Earth. If we don't protect it, who else will? Like, yeah, sure. Like, I'll worry about my parents and that, but there are other people's kids out there. Like, they need protecting too. So it is a risk, but it's something we have to do.
Were you going to say something before I kept talking?
No, it's all right. I was going to say something, and then I remembered that the question wasn't directed at me; it was directed at Pete.
Yeah, had to leave that one with Peter.
Yeah, I was like, oh no, this is definitely not mine.
She looks...
Yeah, we've made our cases.
She looks at each of you in turn, and you can see stubbornness setting in. There was a hint of doubt, like maybe she hadn't made the right decision, but when she's faced with your determination, she just seems to be getting more and more certain that this is insane. You know,
It probably doesn't help that Cal has like this like ashen expression, like he's already a dead man walking, and he's okay with that.
He has accepted his fate.
She turns towards Alpha and just, get me out of here. She doesn't even say goodbye. You see her shoulders slump a little bit. Her face is away from you, but they shake almost imperceptibly before she teleports away.
Only up from here. Just gotta keep that in the back of your mind.
Damn. Talk about kick a guy when you're down, eh, fellas?
Alpha,
Alpha,
does
how
this
do
place...
we go about calling new rangers? Is it like... Is there a list? Have you checked it twice?
And DM broken. DM broken.
Alpha, do we need to reset you again?
The grid provides rangers, but there is something, and he turns back towards the console that he'd been working on when you last saw him and touches a button. The three-dimensional display appears again. This time it is of a man's face, a head, hairless, but you can see what appears to be some sort of uniform at the edges of his neck, edged in gold. His skin blue. Rangers. New Rangers.
Oh, Jesus. What the hell?
I am sorry that you were called in such an abrupt fashion. I am sorry that the events of the past 24 hours have caused such heartache and such pain. I am Zordon of Eltar. And it was I who picked the original Rangers all those years ago. I knew Tommy. I knew Kimberly. And I feel the pain you feel just as deeply. Rangers, the war is not going well. If Rito is able to take Earth, if Rito is able to unleash his sister, if he is able to unleash Lord Zed and to attack from behind, I do not feel we will be able to hold them and his father's forces off for long. I know this is a great weight upon your shoulders. I do not have any right to ask you this, but you must hold.
Pete will look at the other two rangers, and you'll just say, I think I can say this for everyone, but we're in.
If the line has to be held, then the line will be held.
As a wise man once said, hold the door.
Not the time.
Too soon. Too soon.
He just says the line's drawn here, no further.
Nova.
Rangers, we are spread out across the galaxy, and we do know what Vic looks like. We will pass his image along to everyone who stands beneath our banner, and we will be on the lookout for him. If we can return him to Earth, we will. But we cannot guarantee that we can get you any reinforcements anytime soon. If the grid calls for new Rangers, you must train them. You must teach them what you have learned in such a short time. Not your fighting skill or your ability to use the technology that you have been granted, but your steadfast courage.
We will.
I think Hugo goes, on the subject of training,
Yeah, we need to get
can
ourselves
we
some
get
of that.
some?
He steps back, and for a second there's nothing floating. There's no hologram, there's no figure, and in the space there a helmeted form appears. It's red across the majority of the helmet and suit, with a triangle at the top above the visor, black and gold. And for a second it just looks at the three of you, at Alpha, and only a moment after, its helmet is removed, and for at least two of you, a familiar face appears. You
He's
knew
just
him.
gonna like grab your arm.
You knew him as a trainer, as a friend. Jason looks down at the three of you, and he radiates with pride.
What? Hold on. What check do I make when I roll I know a guy? It's persuasion.
Yep.
I'm just like, what's the chances of me as like
Do
the
I know
city,
this guy?
the
Oh.
city busybody? Do I know this guy?
I would say 100%. Like he amongst the others was everywhere. He was at the juice center. He at the juice bar. He was teaching
Yeah.
martial arts. He was big in the community. Even if you don't know him, you knew of him 100%.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
100%. I would not even ask you to roll the dice.
So you absolutely he's every emotion at once. He is astonished, he is flabbergasted, he is relieved that Jason is alive, he's angry that he's alive and left, he's overjoyed that he's there, and everything, he's just completely static for a second, and then he just defaults back to kind of where his brain was the last time that he was in Jason's presence, and he like folds up into like full collapse bow on his knees, martial arts training style, as if his, well, not as if, but because his long lost sensei has suddenly reappeared, whom he thought had either abandoned him or died.
I'd say
He's
Pete
just
kind
like,
of. Pete kind of stands next to him, like bows and like just rests his hand on Q's shoulder, and like kind of like ushers Cal over.
Cal comes. Hey, I've seen you around before. I don't think I've ever been introduced. I'm Cal. Nice to meet you.
He smiles quite warmly at you, although as he does, you notice a scar across his cheek that he never had there before. And he just, hey guys, didn't expect to see you all where you are. I guess you didn't expect to see me here either. Surprise.
Q still knelt, sits back up, and there are just streams of tears that have just cascaded down his face. And he opens his mouth to talk, but just a kind of squeak comes out. He's just like, and that's it. He closes his mouth again. He just cannot process it all at once.
Take a breath there, buddy. Like, it's been a while, but things got a little bit busy in space. And he sort of pauses for a moment and runs his hands through his hair, and he's just like, things got busy in space. Like,
I
how
can't
crazy
believe
is
that's
that?
a serious statement.
Yeah, like, can you imagine?
That's a real statement. That's not a joke.
Exactly. Like, when I first became a Power Ranger, you know, we knew there were things in space. We knew where Rita had come from. We knew where Lord Zed and Goldar had come from, Finster, Babu, Squat. But there's a difference between knowing and seeing the amount of planets that are out there, the amount of people that need the Power Rangers. And that's even before the war began in earnest. Busy in space. It's a bit of an understatement.
Q kind of snaps back a bit and stands back up and goes, so what do we need? What do we do now? Just train, wait, plan?
Train.
Pete will nudge him quickly and show him, like nudging you to morph, to show him that you're red as well, like following in his footsteps.
Q just feels Peter nudging him. He just kind of elbows him back.
He goes, no,
Not clocking what he's saying.
do the thing.
Cal looks at both of them and is like, Yellow Griffin, and turns and morphs.
Pete will green dragon.
And so Q kind of looks from one of them, looks to the other, has a bit of a what the fork moment, and so he goes Red Thunder Dragon as well.
Once he's morphed, Pete will just like kind of pat him on the back. There we go.
Jason.
That's what he was saying.
Jason is essentially a floating head at this point. You can see part of like the black underneath of his suit, his armor, up his neck, his helmet where he's taken it off. You can't see because it's sort of tucked underneath his arm, and he does grin at all three of you, and he radiated pride before, but now you can almost feel it. You can in the lines in his face, in the twinkle in his eye, in the sort of lopsided grin that he beams down at you all, and he just looks like you get my old room, I guess.
That's your room?
Oh, mine, then Rocky's, and well, I suppose it's yours now, Q.
Oh, do I need to get the robots to clean out under the bed first, or is it safe for
Well,
human interactions?
I can't say what sort of state that Rocky left it in, but I mean, we knew we had time to prepare for before we left. We made sure there was nothing. I mean, there's pictures. Hopefully, you've seen them.
I might have broken your notice board.
It's been 10 years. I don't think it's my notice board anymore. But you asked a question, and the answer train, be who you are, be friends, be with each other, be prepared to fight for each other, not just alongside each other, but for each other. Find the thing that is most important to you, that you will do anything to protect, and put yourself between it and Rito. We're asking a lot of you. If we could, we'd be back in an instant, but well, as Zordon said, things are not going well. Every time we win a fight, we lose 2 more. There's just not enough of us to go around. It's a big galaxy.
Well,
Jason, have you heard? Oh no, I know the answer to that question. Sorry.
people would say, well, we'll do our best to protect this little chunk of it then.
I knew you would, guys. Listen, I can't hang around much longer, but listen to Alpha. He might not always seem like he knows the answer, but he taught us. He taught the ones that followed, and, well, we're not doing too badly. And you hear an explosion. It's very muffled because of the way they're communicating with you. The image flickers for a second, and Jason looks back over his shoulder before grabbing his helmet, looking back at you and just saying, "May the power protect you," before pulling his helmet on over his head, turning and running towards whatever is going on out of view. For a second, Zordon's face appears once more, and he says, "Rangers, hopefully Alpha has taught you the 3 directives. Here is a new one.
Yep.
We shall never again lose another Ranger." He looks over towards where Jason went running, and then looks back and says, "As Omega Red said, may the power protect you. Alpha, steer them well." And the communication ends.
Looks like we got a lot of work to do. Let's get busy.
Peter will demorph and then ask Alpha for an update on that energy signature scan.
Rangers, I have good news and bad news. We can.
We will take the bad news.
I thought you'd want the good news first, but Rangers, the shot that disrupted the shields and damaged the command center has 2 traces of energy that we've seen before. 2 traces of energy that I could have pinpointed if I knew what was going on. They appear to have the white and pink power coins. The good news is
So it was.
I can, knowing they have them, hide our presence from them. Try to partially sever them from the morphing grid, although without them in my possession, I can only do so partially. They may still be able to use the power against you.
Can you track their location?
We know where they are, Rangers. They're on the moon.
Okay. Should we go and get the power coins?
Rangers, I appreciate your confidence, but
I'm gonna need like a day. give me some time.
Bit of practice,
Give
you know,
me
before.
a second.
you're not ready to go up
Q
against
says-
Rito, Zed, and
Yeah.
Rita all together.
Q just goes, I think rushing to the moon on our first deliberate mission is probably going to end badly. And there's only 3 of us now. So statistically, I don't like the probability that it'll end badly for me.
Okay, you may be right there. Okay, so I suppose end goal is get those power coins back. So
You do
For
see
now,
one
we-
of the robots that you previously dubbed Brian come moving down, and as it does, it just goes, there is a 0.000000000, and Alpha sort of looks over and it's just like knocks it as if it's broken, and it just keeps going 0.001% chance of mission success.
thanks, Brian.
Big help, Brian.
Moves away, continuing to go about his debris cleaning duties.
What now then, guys?
Now I'm gonna go to sleep. And
Yeah,
then
what time
tomorrow,
of day is it?
By now, I would say late afternoon. The rush through the command center, everything was pretty quickly, but you've had some time to kind of rest up, and late afternoon. On a Sunday, as you said, it's now been 24 and a half hours of Power Rangering, and I think it's fair to say your world has
a lot of
Appended?
things have changed.
yeah, a lot of things have changed.
Mostly for the worse. Mostly for the worse.
I don't think I want to ask this question. Do we have any kind of test tomorrow at school? Oh no, we're not at school, are we? No, we're at college.
College, it's okay.
There's a different question.
The academic year is
Have
literally
we-
due to begin.
The academic term starts for them
Have-
tomorrow. Damn.
Cool. Okay.
Well, school tomorrow, and I like pat them both on the back because I just remembered that they're both younger than me. Time for you guys to rest up and get ready for another exciting day at college.
Oh damn!
And I'm gonna like usher them out.
I forgot semester started tomorrow.
I like Daddy Cow taking responsibility for everything. He's just like, come on, bedtime, guys.
Yeah.
So are we first years going into college? Or
Are you?
We've got
This is the thing, I'm not sure.
so you're both, I want to say you're both 18.
Are you 18? Yeah, 18 or 19.
18
I was like
would be
19-ish.
first year, 19 would be
Yes, I am
second.
18 or 19.
Yes,
I didn't
18
actually
would be
do-
first year, 19 would be
decide.
second. That is correct, isn't it?
Okay.
I mean, look, college
Oh,
is
God.
more dependent on credit than year. So like,
Okay.
if you
Okay,
do enough,
so
18 is when you start going to college,
That's
and from
what I
there
thought.
on, it's basically primordial soup.
yeah, when you finish,
It's
yeah,
downhill all the way.
yeah, the story of I
As
want to
you-
say Bert Kreischer. Yeah.
As you get enough credits, you progress in years.
Mm.
But yeah, normal track, 18 first years freshman, 19 should be sophomore.
That's good. That's how I'd done it in my
Right.
head, but different academic system.
Cool. Yeah, then I'd say we're sophomores. But yeah, we will, or at least
Yeah.
people, head
I'm
out to.
I'm gonna get my health and power back.
Going to
Yeah.
bed.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Yeah, I
Sure,
guess it would be off home.
Some putties turned up.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Q still wants. Right. Q just has one more question for Alpha, and that was,
He shouts over his back
Command
as I'm
center got
discussing.
shot. The command center got shot, and there was a big hole in it, which is how we got in. I'm presuming that's been resolved
Dealt with.
ahead of arriving under the ocean. Otherwise, we're about to get rather wet.
Vic, when he teleported the command center down, Alpha pulls up basically a big, and we're talking big, map in 3 dimensions of the command center, and you see that you're in one of the lowest levels, but not the lowest, and it stretches up quite a few levels above you. There's other dormitories, there's more storage, there's an entire large, like 2-3 story, but also quite a wide chunk that just seems to be dedicated to R&D. And you see the top part and what looks to be parts of the ruins of the command center that you saw, but not all of it, not all of the towers, not all of the broken walls where it had been detonated. And Alpha just says, when Vic teleported the command center down, he didn't bring the exterior facade, just the underground levels that weren't destroyed in the attack.
So we're safe.
Yes, we should be safe now. The force field, the barrier, is preventing the water from entering into the command center. In theory, you could go outside for a little walk, though it's probably a little bit dark and very cold.
So we're kind of like in a big underwater bubble. Gotcha.
We're going to
Cool,
start
that
calling
doesn't
it
fill me.
Atlantis.
Welcome everybody to Power Rangers Atlantis.
Underwater city of Atlantis. It's us.
So, so who lives in a house under the sea?
Yellow, green, and red.
Yeah.
One of us is yellow, one of us is green, one of us is red. Bro, we're just
Yeah.
it's SpongeBob, Mr. Krabs, and
That was
Plankton.
entirely unintentional.
Is it
I
we're
mean,
either
look.
mer people or we're some other franchise waiting to happen?
I'm sure it's all cool.
fantastic.
Yeah. Well, there goes the neighbourhood.
That's what the fish are thinking as they're swimming past.
Yeah, they see our fucking massive, obnoxious base, and they're
Yep.
like, "Oh God, it was bad enough
There
when the
goes the
extra-dimensional
neighborhood.
turtle
Yeah.
moved in."
Now he's brought his baggage.
I hate it when people move in and then also bring their annoying friends to move in next to them.
It's fair.
That's kind of what I've done here, actually. My best friend lives next door, and I've moved into
Oh,
the house that was empty next.
Guarantee at least one of your neighbors actively is thinking, "God, I can't believe you brought another one."
Damn it, they're multiplying.
Mm.
Cool. Okay. Homeward it is for
So
Q
can
then.
can I get my health and power back?
Well, the day is essentially, unless you're planning on doing something, the day is going to end.
Yep.
Sort of as you are.
Awesome.
Yep.
Fantastic. So, do you return home? Do you stay in the rooms left behind? Do you?
I'm gonna stay in the room. I'm gonna stay. In the
Hey,
room. No one's waiting for me at home anyway. They're
Yeah.
not gonna miss me.
I'm expected at home.
Yeah, Pete will also go home.
So for Cal, at least, the trip home, in air quotes, is nice and short. When he does come out to sort of explore the recreation area, he does find that most of it has been tidied by the robots. The holes in the floor are almost entirely patched over by now. They're working very quickly, and whatever materials they're using is essentially not leaving a blemish in the floor. It's seamless. he does find that there's food in the cupboards, but other than like some
There's like crackers.
yeah,
There's like things that are like have long
Yeah.
sell-by dates.
Crackers.
super long sell-by dates. There's like some noodles that need to be
saltines,
cooked. Yeah,
ramen,
Um,
like cup ramen,
Into tuna. Yeah.
there's
can of tuna.
there's some like really strange like finger-shaped yellowish brown thing with cream in the middle. That says like it's got like a 10-15 year shelf life, but we all know it's going to survive the apocalypse.
Pinkies.
Yeah.
Finkies.
You know, there's foods, there's even some condiments and stuff like that, but there's nothing.
Sick, I found a
really-
can of spam.
Pork luncheon meat.
Yeah, it doesn't leave a lot to be desired, but I'm
mean,
sure
look,
you know
Give
shopping
me,
trip.
give me some spam. Give me some spam and some crackers, and I'm all good.
Sorry, that's just
Bloody
no.
Vikings.
Not raw. You gotta cook the spam, but like,
I like how that's the problem.
I mean, look, I'm a Hawaii boy. I love spam. It's delicious.
Fair enough.
It's just meaty goodness.
No, I'm just no moving. Moving on. Peter is teleported to not too far outside of his house, somewhere safe, and he's able to sort of get in. The same for Q. It's the late afternoon, and the two of them do see a news show, like their family sort of sitting around and watching. Q's mum is just staring at the TV, kind of intently, like watching the fair that's being covered by the news. And as Q walks in, she's like, "Mercutio, there are new Power Rangers. Like, I appreciate I was at the dance centre yesterday. I was trying to make sure everything was ready for Monday, but you'd think somebody would have told me there were new Power Rangers. And like, what are you doing home? Like, I thought you was going to the fair with your friends. Did you see this? Did you see all of like this pig thing? And it got big and then turned back into a smaller pig and Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Why did we move here?"
Well, we moved here because of Dad's work. You know that. Yeah, I met up with Pete and some of the other guys, and as we were getting there, we played a few games. We did win one of the cuddly toys, but it kind of got lost in the melee. When the pig came, we just ducked for cover. We kind of got into one of the there was like a big red tent in the middle. We kind of went in there and hid out until it all ended. But we caught some of it from like under the bottom of the flap. But yeah, new Power Rangers. Who knew?
She kind of places a hand around you and just kind of pats you gently on the cheek, and it's just like, "That's good, Mercutio. You know, just I appreciate you did all of those martial arts classes. I'd much rather you would have done more dancing, but it's okay. It's neither here nor there. But I'm just glad you didn't try to do anything silly. Let the Power Rangers deal with the monsters, and just if anything, just run. Just turn around, run, leave. Just
Yeah, I'll definitely let the Power Rangers deal with it.
fantastic." And
I can promise you that.
who does Peter come home to?
Pete comes home to his father, Ben.
His father Ben, who is looking over some old issues of a interesting comic book he's quite fond of, and he just sort of looks up as Peter walks in. He's like, "Yo, PD, I appreciate you've got class tomorrow, but can you perhaps maybe at some point in the next few days stop by the comic shop? They should have the newest couple of issues for me. I've not been in a few days, but you know it's been a bit busy. Just pick them up for me, bring them home. Yeah, and
Yeah, sure, that's not a problem. I'll grab him on the way home.
the TV is on in the background, but Ben is kind of like just flicking through really carefully, looking up, and there's a few issues that are actually sealed that he's looking at the covers of, but he won't open them up to look at. But both Q and Peter see in the background the news report, and Eliza's still there. She's interviewing Farmer Sorich, and he's telling her how the Power Rangers saved the day, and if it wasn't for them, he doesn't know what would have happened to Cupcake. She won. He's really proud of her. But more importantly, in the background, you see two figures in suits, very, very nicely dressed. One of them, a woman, has these very nice rimless glasses on. The other seems to be talking into a phone. And as he does, you see a van pull up. It's driven across the grass where normally nobody would be allowed to. They just seem to get away with it. The police, who are sort of cordoning off the area, let the van through, and a couple of people in hazmat suits start loading all of the equipment around the pig pen into the back of the van. And I want the two of you to make me alertness checks. And while you're doing that, Alpha comes up to see Cal. He seems to be down. He should be happy. He's just seen his friend of a significant chunk of time for the first time in years. He's seen one of the very first Power Rangers that he's worked with doing his thing, and they're alive, they're doing well, but he's sort of wandering through the recreation area, and he stops over by the sofa and picks up a laptop that's a bit broken and opens it up, and on the desktop it's just a picture of Jason, of Kim, of Billy, Zach, and Trini. All five of them in color-coded tops. And he looks over at Cal. He's just like, it's been a tough day.
Yeah, it has. Cal sits next to him and like puts an arm around the weird crying robot.
It's I'm sorry. It's been very quiet the past 10 years. Yeah, it's been very quiet, and just a lot has happened in the past 24 hours. And how are you feeling? Like, I've seen this sort of stuff before, and it's tough, but how are you doing?
I won't lie and say I'm doing all right. The past day and a half have really gone to show just what kind of responsibility we now have, and losing Vic to God knows where, and Mouse, of course, has to take her family into consideration. It's just, there's a lot, but we're not gonna let this stop us. We can't afford to. The other Power Rangers are out there in space, fighting every day to keep the galaxy free of tyranny, I guess. And we gotta make sure that Earth isn't one of the places they have to worry about.
The Omega Rangers and the Space Rangers, I mean, they're stretched thin, but they are fighting the United Alliance of Evil. They're fighting...
Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Good God.
I don't think they're...
I guess Evil doesn't pay for a PR department.
They're not the most creative of people, but they do tend to spend a lot of time breaking things. I suppose that's more their focus.
I guess it's on brand.
Yeah.
The United Alliance of Evil.
Just...
It'd be comical if it wasn't such a genuine threat.
There is that. just
100% an oxymoron. I'm not in the room, but when he hears it, Q's going to be like, really?
I'm gonna tell you two about this tomorrow, and I mean, guys, you
Are
won't
you
believe-
texting furiously?
You won't.
Group
I'm like,
text chain.
I'm like talking to Alpha. I'm like in the back. I'm just like, I got like my hand up, texting this shit. Like, you guys aren't gonna fucking believe this. Are the arch enemy of like the Space and Omega Rangers the United Alliance of Evil? That's what they called themselves.
He'll just text back. Lol.
You just get face palm emoji.
We're losing to that.
just I've been around for thousands of years, and I'm programmed with a lot of different routines. If you ever need somebody to talk to, I have psychological training somewhere in here.
That's incredible.
I can also play you different operas from several hundred worlds. My recordings are out of date, and there's probably some fantastic musical scores that I've missed in the past 10 years, but we have a fantastic
No.
um
Not
audio-
missing much.
no? Okay.
Just-
I mean,
Alpha
like, if you were into it, you could I certainly wouldn't hold it against you. But like in terms of operatic score, very short on that the last 10 years.
Oh, if you ever want, we could do like a movie night. We probably have some popcorn kernels around here. They survive quite well. And
Yeah, I'm gonna hit the store tomorrow and like get this place stocked up.
he kind of just nods his head. It's like, well, if you have anything you want to bring over, it's your home now. We can teleport.
Thank you,
things
Alpha.
in. We'll see if we can get this burn marks beaten out of the sofas. Well, Jason and Kim brought these here. They've been here for a while, so hopefully we don't have to get rid of them. But yeah,
Thank you, Alpha. It means a lot. Thank you so much.
back.
And likewise, if you ever need to talk,
think
more than happy to listen.
It's having you around will be a breath of fresh air. It's been very quiet without Zordon, and the other Rangers, of course. But back in Q's house, he glances at the TV just in time to see a bag of food, pig feed, lifted up and placed into the van. And as he does, he sees not only a familiar symbol, but a name upon the food.
Sorry, just to clarify, is the symbol on the outside of the bag?
Yep, like a logo with
Cool.
Mega Feed written underneath it. Peter doesn't see this because just as it's occurring, he does get a ping on his phone, and he looks across it. It's an email, and it's gone through to the Green Ranger 907 email address that he gave out to Claydoyus Pete, and there is a PDF several hundred pages long and seems to be an operational manual for the Alpha 5 robot. But there's also a cat hanging off a tree branch, and he's photoshopped like the Green Ranger's helmet onto it. It's the original Green Rangers because he doesn't have a photo of the new helmet design that Peter wears. And just below it, it says, "Hang in there."
Peter will respond thanking Claydoyus Pete, which he will write. Thanks, Claydoyus Pete. Thanking him for the manual for Alpha. And he'll also send back... I know this is really outdated, but it's all I can think of right now. Like one of the Icon has cheeseburger cats.
I feel like Claydoyus Pete would like that particular Mimi. That's I'm never going to forget that. Sorry. Um, and like
There is a song on the playlist to that effect.
I'm
That
going to have
if you've
to
not
listen
listened to it,
this
it's
now.
worth listening. It will
No,
make you chuckle.
I've not been able to catch it this week, but I'm going to have to go back and listen to it. But almost instantly, he does respond with a GIF, and it's just like somebody falling down laughing so hard at the "I can has cheeseburger" meme, or Mimi, as Play-Doh Pete calls them.
Come on, Judas. Come and sit down.
I'm sorry,
There we
what?
go.
Your cat's name is
Judas.
Judas?
No, it's not. It's just how I refer to him when he's trying to upstage me.
Trying to
Scene stealing hack. That's what you are.
Judas, the traitor.
It's the polite version of what I call him when he's being a pain in the backside.
I'm just keeping an eye on the time. It's a little bit sooner than we would normally finish, but I think with everything that's happened and the new day being sort of the start, we'll just finish a little bit earlier. But I will ask the three of you, like I did last time, I do believe, what your favourite moment was.
Getting to see Jason was cool. I like that a lot. Just like we are out here and we are still fighting. Knowing that the battle, while not going great, isn't lost. Type shit. Love it.
Good.
I was going to say the same thing, seeing Jason.
You have to think of something else now.
Oh no, that's not fair.
No, I'm kidding. You don't have to.
To be fair, the meme from Clado SP, that was awesome.
Just a little callback.
I'm gonna make a friendship with Clado SP, I do believe.
He's
Hell
the king of the rubber beat. Yeah.
Pete and Pete. And you guys can make a
Pete.
sitcom, Pete and Pete.
The two
I really hope
We
he
all
doesn't
beat
turn out
together.
to be Finster. That would suck.
He's not.
Yeah,
There's
that's
no way.
still in the back of my mind because Finster was
not.
never found when everybody went to prison. So
He's not. There's no way. Couldn't be him.
friends.
Clitoris Pete being Finster, no
It's
chance.
just not possible.
maybe he's his good twin brother.
There's no such thing as a good twin. There's only evil and eviler.
Evil and
Maybe-
evil.
Maybe he's
Eviler. Sorry, Eviler was one of the villains in Space Channel 5, the computer game. She was awesome. She was hard to defeat because you had to Simon Says game, but you had to do everything that she did in reverse. So it was
God.
a bit of a
That
and
was
some of the
a lot.
strings of commands that you had to put in got long, but it was great. It was a fantastic game. Great music, worth looking at.
And what was your
Um,
favourite moment?
Yeah, my favourite bit. I was going to say the Jason moment, but
Fine, I'll
I-
give a different
was
one
it-
then.
no. I do have a backup, but yeah, that was from a Q perspective. It was so. It was a complete cacophony of emotions, and it had me just a little misty here,
feel like-
which was awesome.
I feel like I've been doing like gut punch, gut punch, gut punch, gut punch. We needed something
Yeah.
uplifting.
This has been a B of a origin arc for
Yeah.
Power Rangers. I did like how that moment with Vic it was a really testing moment of because Q would not want to have left him on his own, but absolutely had that horrible balance point of actually, if this does go south, we need to at least have some semblance of a team to continue, and kind of having to make space to let Vic take responsibility for his actions and what he was trying to do. That was it was a tough role play decision to make, and I think that will weigh on Q's mind going forwards.
And quite possibly, perhaps, we haven't seen the last of Vic or Mouse.
Hopefully, yeah.
Unfortunately, from a out of character standpoint, scheduling conflicts have occurred and other bits and pieces, which has unfortunately resulted in some cast changes. But we will see what happens in the future.
Never give up, never surrender.
I love that film. I genuinely love that film.
Never give up, never surrender. Mightiest morphers, Earth's defenders.
I like that. Was there a second moment you wanted to say?
Yeah, just the fact that the base is now like in the ocean. Like I like that. Like the idea of like us having the Subnautica base is really cool.
I'm a big fan of the game. It kept me sane during the COVID lockdowns because you could just swim around with all the fishies. Yeah,
all the fishies, including all those leviathans,
all the ones that are trying to eat you too. Yeah, there is that. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah.
Like in Lilo and Stitch.
Yes.
Friendly dolphin! No, it's a shark! It's a shark! It's not a dolphin!
Yeah.
Tricky fish!
It's a shark, but it's a shark that's like the size of
a spaceship.
Yeah, it's huge. It's ridiculously big. And
the Leviathans are legitimately terrifying in that game and are the reason I will not play it.
You're just like swimming around in your little submarine. It's not much bigger than you are. It's like, yeah, I've got a sub. I can move faster. I can do things. And all of a sudden, it's just like teeth clamped down.
You hear the
on top
music.
Of the sub. The music changes and you get flung.
It has its own track.
Yeah.
The Leviathan has its own soundtrack and it's horrifying.
It's brutal. It is brutal. But that still kept me sane.
The moment that a cello starts in any media, you know that it's in trouble. And if it's just one cello, whatever you're doing, stop it and leave quickly from the nearest exit.
But fantastic. Thank you very much, guys. Another week, another episode, some more gut-wrenching punches, some nice positive optimism. We have an idea of what's going on in space. Things can only go up from here.
It's time to do some training.
Hopefully.
And hopefully also leveling.
Yes, actually, that is a point that I did forget.
Nice.
That is actually a point I did forget. You are now level 2. That was another reason why I wanted to stop it early. The intention was to try and let everybody use their class features. Green had sort of solo striked from the offset. Coward.
I got to use I know a guy.
Strike and his I know a guy.
And the triple strike.
Yep. The intention was to let Vic use his Eureka a bit more and Mouse being able to use her Heart of the Team. Unfortunately, things and stuff happened which kind of threw that off, but that was the plan. But yeah, having been able to sort of use your first level class features, guys, you're level 2.
Yay!
Survived one more level.
Yeah, one more to go. And
it's level 2, huzzah!
You know,
one more to go. Did you say, Matt?
One more to go, and then Zords.
I get my dragon.
One more to go, and then a bad mechanic.
We'll get Zords. If we're really, 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 really lucky, like, you know, if we cross our fingers
by the
and
time
pray,
we hit level 3,
we may have character sheets. No, we might have character sheets for the Zords, because at the moment it's on the list for Roll20's things to do. Which reminds me,
they'll be critting in all the wrong places.
We will be critting in all the wrong places. But if we get character sheets for the Zords, that would still be great. We did mention last week the bits and pieces for the Roll20, the issues that are having, and I did say that it would have been really helpful if I'd posted a link. And I'm going to post
I did it for you.
Did you? Where did you post it?
Yeah, on the YouTube channel on last week's video. Awesome. I included the hyperlink as a comment.
You are awesome. Thank you. I'm going to post it in the chat as well, just in case anybody sees it when they... Why can't you post a link?
Yep. So smash that like button, hit the subscribe bell, and make sure you click on that link and go and vote for the things that we keep kvetching about.
There we go.
Smash that motherfucking like button.
I mean, Zordsheet is currently second only behind being able to print off the 5th edition character sheets, which is boring. Nobody wants that. We want Zord sheets. That's more important, guys.
There's enough 5e character sheets in this world. Just use the crayon and colour it in.
And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, have a good night. Have a good week. We will see you same time next Thursday. Bye all.
Bye bye, everybody. Bye bye.